What's up, guys? Specstar here today with my week week 5 battle of LD, and I'm going up here against my man Count Real Oreo, and he's got himself a stall team consisting of Tangrowth, Reuniclus, Mega Sable, Toxapex, Rotom Heat, and Terrakion. And by the way, I got this lighting like this. The lighting was shit. It was dark, so I took the flashlight on my phone and I got it up, pointing up here, so I look like the introduction of a villain in a superhero movie. I thought that was better than being halfway dark like Two-Face, something like that. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna roll with the punches. I don't always have the best lighting in here, but screw lighting. Am I right? Lighting doesn't strike twice. Anyway, let's switch over to my team. It's always fun when you get a prep for more of a stall team, and you kind of get a bust out. It's your good excuse to bust out some of the wackest shit because they get their chance to thrive against it. Including this modest Zam only needing 44 speed to outpace Terrakion, his fastest Pokemon. Modest, and the rest going in HP. And I'm running Calm Mind, Psyshock, Dazzling Gleam, Focus Blast. Pretty self-explanatory for the 3 coverage moves, except for Focus Blast, which is for Registeel, which did not come. Calm Mind helps. It just kind of helps punch through his team if I get the opportunity to go for it. Next up here, I've got, speaking of some of the whack shit you gotta do against stall, I'm going to be rocking Metronome Celesteela with Substitute, and the reason I'm rocking Metronome is because he responds to Celesteela pretty passively. He's going to most likely think about going into something like Growth, something like Pex, something like Mega Sableye, which can recover up on this thing. But if they start recovering up, no bueno, because that's when the metronome starts ticking, and I start getting those boosts. And I've got Stone Edge, which is just for the Rotom Heat pretty damn much. Heavy Slam, most of the damn team, and Earthquake hits Pex and Registeel. Next up here, I've got my Specs Eruptran, and as many of you know, to run Eruption, you have to be quiet nature, so I am max speed with a hindering speed nature, and that is because it will allow me to just barely outpace a no-speed Kyurem Black if he did want to bring it. That was the one big offensive threat he did have. And I've got Eruption, of course, Earth Power, which hits Specs. Fire Blast is just in case this thing gets damage on it, I still want to be able to fire off some fire moves. And Flash Cannon, which helps with, it was for something in particular. Well, it hits things like the Terrakion and the other things. It's just kind of a more of a middle ground move in this matchup in particular that I've got. Mostly I just need Eruption. That thing smacks. Would you believe that Eruption has a pretty damn good chance to 2 KO a physically defensive Toxapex, even without Rocks up? Yeah, that's fun. Next up here, I've got my Tapu Fini, and I'm running Binding Ban, Whirlpool. I'm sure a lot of you guys need this explained because I feel like I'm the only damn one who ever uses this item. Binding Band increases the trapping damage of Whirlpool, so it will go up to 17%? I think it goes up to 17%, which combined with Protect means this mon comes in, Whirlpool, then Protect, and it's already a third gone. It's pretty damn good at chipping things down. Taunt means things like Pex aren't going to be able to recover up on it. Next up here, I've got Celebi, which is just a Nasty Plot breaking type set. Got Nasty Plot, Psychic, Dazzling Gleam, Earth Power. Gleam, for the most part, is just hitting Sableye, which is, of course, a big thing. And Earth Power, of course, Registeel, things like that. Pretty much just Registeel, actually. I think that was about all of it. Dazzling Gleam also helps with Curum, which I am outpacing with my speed investment. And last up, I've got Jeremy the Skuntank running Banded Set, just to make sure Pursuit can do enough damage to Reuniclus. In prep, I'm pretty damn confident that Reuniclus is going to be an Assault Vest Regenerator type variant, and this thing makes sure I can get rid of that damn thing. It could always be Colbert, but I feel like there's not much purpose for that kind of a Reuniclus set in this particular matchup. And I've got Crunch, just kind of a more spammable move. Plus, it can kind of create those 50-50s with Reuniclus if I have to. Explosion is just... But the Pex is going to wall any damn thing I could put on this. Explosion will weaken the thing if it's coming in and let me bring something in to finish the job. And P-Jab hits things like Tangrowth and kind of gives it a secondary purpose aside from just pursuing, in case it's either pursued or there is no Reuniclus, which there is a Reuniclus. So let's get this show on the road. I am just going to lead off with my Tapu Fini. I'm imagining that a very likely lead is going to be Sableye, since Stall is allergic to hazards, and Rotom Heat's the only thing that might be removal he's got there. So he's going to actually lead off with Rotom, which is going to surprise me and put me in a tricky position. I'm going to go into Celebi because I'm pretty damn sure he's going to Volt Switch. That's modest specs damage, which, that's a little bit annoying. He's going to bring in Terrakion here. Since he brought in Terrakion, I have to think, alright, he's going to try and catch me with X-Scissor here, so I'm going to switch out into my Fini here. I'm just going to see what he's doing. He goes into Tangrowth though, so I guess he's just got a good bluff there with the potential for X-Scissor. I obviously don't want this thing to stay in on the Tangrowth, so I'm going to bring in my Celebi because I didn't want Celesteela to risk getting knocked off as he went for there, and Celebi was the least important. He goes into Reuniclus. I actually nasty plotted because he took a while to make his turn. I had Psychic clicked initially, but because I thought he would just go for another knockoff. But since he took a while to pick his turn, I thought, okay, he's thinking about something. So I went for Nasty Plot instead. Reuniclus comes in. I'm just going to click Dazzling Gleam on this thing. It covers it staying in or just going into Sableye. And as we suspected, that is Assault Vest AF. So here comes Skuntank. And I am just going to click Pursuit. Nothing to think about here. He's going to try and switch out. No bueno. I'm going to take that thing down with my Pursuit. That's one potential Zamanswer gone. Terrakion comes in. I'm going to go to Tapu Fini. It covers a close combat play. And he has busted out the breakers today, which I was not expecting against a Stall team, but that is a banded Terrakion doing some banded damage to my Tapu Fini. But now he's forced out, and I am going to click Whirlpool. Didn't I? No, I went into Heatran. I didn't even do this game that long ago. How did I not remember that? I wish I Whirlpooled. That would have been a good play. But I actually went into Heatran trying to make the aggressive play on the Tangrowth because Fini could have taken down the Tangrowth depending on if it had a move like Leaf Storm. I'm not actually sure Power Whip would have done it. I don't have the calcs in my head, but I thought he might want to bring in Tangrowth on this thing, and if he did, Heatran put a ton of pressure on. Instead, he goes out to Pex, which I would have beat with Whirlpool, so I'm a little upset at myself at this point. I'll go into Zam. Since I can trace Regenerator, anything Pex can do to Zam is not a problem to me. He brings in the Rotom here, and I'm actually going to go into Skuntank, just playing it real safe because I'm not sure if he would want to overheat. If he did, with a Calm Mind, it's putting too much damage on my Zam, and especially because at this point I'm looking at Zam as a win con. That wasn't really, again, my style. But here, I've got the Skun Tank in on the Tangrowth. Obviously he's not staying in, so I'm actually going to click my Explosion trying to hit the Pex. He goes Pex, I do a nice 96%, which is fun. You ever seen Pex take that much from a neutral hit, especially from a shitty Pokemon like Skun Tank? But here, I'm going to bring in my Pokemon that gives him the least ability to switch out, which is going to be my Zam. In hindsight here, I actually probably should have Calm-Minded. I didn't want this thing to take too big a hit from the growth, though. I was still being a little too cautious with preserving it, but I probably should have Calm-Minded here. Instead, I'm going to go for my Gleam, actually thinking about Sable wanting to make an aggressive play. Especially because I didn't know the set there. But of course, he wasn't going to make that aggressive a move right there. I'm going to Psyshock, just kind of feeling him out. Since I've Trace Regenerator, I'm not risking too much. This is a roll very much in my favor for the next Psyshock to take him out. Unless he was some kind of a weird set. The roll I'm looking at was 36 point something to 43 point something, so it was quite likely I would have been able to take this thing out, but I was being a bit of a pussy with my Zam here, so I'm actually going to switch out into Feeny. He's going to switch out into a Sable here, and I am going to click my Whirlpool. I'm going to get a nice little bit of chip there thanks to my Binding Band. And I'll Protect up here. He's going to go for Power Whip. And here, I think he's pressured to click Power Whip again, especially because if he clicks Knock Off and I stay in, the growth is dead. So I'm going to go into Celesteela here. He goes for Power Whip, misses, didn't do anything anyway. I'm going to sub up here. He goes into Rotom Heat. I'm going to click my Stone Edge in case he wants to Overheat. If he does Volt Switch, I'm going to be able to sub up on anything he would want to bring out anyway, so I'm not really sweating that. I'll Stone Edge, get a little bit of damage off on Pex, and then I'm going to Stone Edge again because I might as well start trying to get a little bit of a Metronome combination. Tangrowth, unfortunately was not in range yet, so I just opted not to click Stone Edge again and rather go for a sub. But I am going to regret that because he is going to make way too aggressive of a play in Rotom Heat, I think. But it does work out for him as I go for my sub. He's going to go for an Overheat here, and I am going to click my Stone Edge. Nope, I'm going to click Substitute. I should have! Man, I'm more on point now than I was then. What am I doing? But I Stone Edge there, and the turn he switches out. Now I'm going to go for my Heavy Slam and try to rack some of these up. Doing a little bit to Pexy, but I'll do a little bit more the next time. So I'm going to Heavy Slam again. No, Earthquake. What the hell was I doing? Oh my gosh. I am off today. And I was off then. There was no reason for me to not Heavy Slam again there. That was no bueno. But he goes on a Tangrowth there. Now I Heavy Slam. Do a nice 43. He knocks off. That is not breaking my sub. I'm going to Heavy Slam again here. This time doing 30%. And with the Metronome, it's definitely in range now as I click my Heavy Slam. Tangrowth is going to come in and take 60. We are haracking these the hell up. He goes back into Pex. It's only getting worse from here. Give my man 35. This time he goes into the Rotom, and that's going to take a nice 30. Because that thing is dual resisting. It's taking it much more comfortably than I am comfortable with. And then comes in the Pex on the Stone Edge. I'm going to sub up again. Oh my god. No, I'm going to Stone Edge again. Alright. I'm going to keep Stone Edging here. I'm going to claim a KO on something. And the Pex will go down. I'll get my attack boost. I swear I played this game not too long ago. What was it, 2 days ago? But the Rotom will come in and take me out with a Volt Switch. He's going to go into his Tangrowth here. And I am going to go into my Heatran. Something's going to drop here. He goes into his Rotom Heat. That is not the switch in. Eruption will cook that mofo, and he is going to bring in his Terrakion. I've got to go Nafini. If he clicks Close Combat, it's a roll to a KO me. He goes for Close Combat. He does 34. I'm going to try and win this roll and click Whirlpool, but he is going to get it and take out my Feeny. I know he's banded, so now it's time for Zam to come in. And I believe I'm just going to click my Psyshock here rather safely. No, oh right, yeah. I went into my Heatran. Man, I am off today. What the heck? You know what? I'm going to blame it on being International Napping Day. I haven't even had my international nap yet. I mean, how am I supposed to commentate when I haven't even had my international nap? At this point, I got to start waiting for the turn to happen. This has not been my best remembering performance. But, yeah, I'm going to go to my Heatran because he was either going to go into Tang or Sableye, and either way, Tran got a KO there. So I will Erupt here as he goes out into Tangrowth. That is going to get... Nope. Oh, come on. I went for a Flash Cannon, right? Because Terrakion ate an Eruption, actually. He was doing 66 to 80 or something like that. 68 to 80. Something like that. Well, I obviously don't have a switch in now. I'm going to have to let my Tran go down here. Zam will come in. I'm going to click my Dazzling Gleam here, which will take down the Terrakion. Now it's down to Zam versus Sableye. And of course my play is just to click Dazzling Gleam here. Doesn't seem to have the fake out as I get my Gleam off here. So I'm going to try to take his hit. And I survived the Shadow Ball, so I'm going to be winning here. Nope. Shadow Sneak. Sadness. Lose. But, you know what? It was a hell of a game. A close game. And GG to my man Rio Lorio. Unfortunately, our unbeaten streak of 4-0 is going to be beaten. But, you know what? At least you screw that stupid streak. And next week, come in just looking to rebound. No pressure to keep the unbeaten thing going on. You know, particularly in the early game, there's a few plays I wish I could have had back. A few plays where I think I had a better option than the one I went with, and I think that might have helped me out a little bit more throughout the game. But, you know, that's just how it is when you play Pokemon. You take them, and then you lose and you learn. That's just how it works. And no matter how far you get, you always got to keep learning if you want to. Because everyone else is moving. If you stagnate, no matter where you are, you get buried in the dust. So, a good game here. One I feel like I should come out better from on the other side. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Even with me forgetting half the turns. You know, you think even on odds, if I was just guessing on those turns, I would have had a better percentage of getting them right. Just on the mathematics of it, you'd think, but not so much. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching regardless. Have yourselves a good night.